Hello and welcome to another installation of the best ship mods for Starfield, and we have some truly epic mods to go through, from having complete control over where you place your doors, your ladders, to being able to flip modules and components you never even dreamed of, to building giant, humongous Class M ships. We're covering some of the absolute best ship mods for you to try on Xbox and PC. Let's get into it. So this next mod is a bit of fun. It's called ZeeOgre's Ship Tweaks, and it has some unique features that are a lot of fun to mess around with. It allows you to be able to target ships from insane distances. In fact, 9,999 meters. So you can lock on to ships that are so far away, which kind of makes sense because we have these long-range missiles that can fire. We can't really lock on until we're so close. So this is a nice little touch. It's pretty cool to be able to fire and lock on from so far away. For example, let's lock on to something super far away. So something that's 6,000 meters, and here we are locking on. Now, if we fire a few shots and then we exit, ready? Look how long it's going to take for it to hit the actual ship. A long time. There we go. It just hit it then. Crazy. So it certainly is quite a lot of fun mucking around with just that little function alone. However, the mod doesn't just stop there. There's quite a few other nice little things to have a little fun with. The other one is adding a 2,500 meter ship-to-ship looting distance, which is really nice. So you can just loot ships from a far distance, unlike before, which was you'd have to go very close. See how we have the remains of a ship over there? If we get a little bit closer, because it's 2,500 meters. So we do need to get a little bit closer, but as soon as we get to 2,500, we will be able to loot it. Now, there are mods that have much further range, but this is a nice touch anyway, just to include it in these tweaks. And we're just about to arrive at the distance, and there we go. So it's still much further than the base amount. So nice little addition there. The same goes for transferring between your inventory into your ship. You can now access your ship cargo from 2,500 meters. The other nice touch is being able to dock from 1,000 meters. So let's go try that out. Let's head over to the eye, and as soon as we get to 1,000, we'll be able to dock from way over here. So it makes it a little bit quicker and easier. I personally would use a mod to make it even further, but that's just me. But it's a nice combination. The other thing this mod does is make 5% registration tax, not 86. And it also, which is huge, is allows you to build up to 150 ships. So this is another mod that will increase your total ship amount to 150. So an excellent mod here, and that is the ZeeOgre's Ship Tweaks by the Nighthawk. Terrific mod. Let's keep moving. The next two mods we're going to cover are extremely useful for making some very unusual builds. And we're going to start off with the mod called Better Ship Part Flips by Rux616. This mod is incredible. It adds capability of flipping many otherwise unflippable components. For one, the radiator. For instance, the radiator. This is a component I've always wanted to be able to flip. Without this mod, it will only sit straight, but here we can rotate it and attach it to the side of your ship. How neat is that? Now, if you think that's cool, let's just take a look at some of the images from the mod, because there's so many pieces impacted by this. Much better captured with images. So we'll just quickly go through some of these. We won't go through all of them, but you can see the multitude. Nearly every single component you would want to be able to flip in nearly any direction is now available to you. The amount of flexibility this single mod gives you in terms of working with components and modules you've always wanted to just simply flip is now achievable. It was so unusual that the flipping was limited to a couple of modules. Well, now we have free range. This mod is terrific. However, when it comes to using this mod, for me, I had to disable most of my other ship mods, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think one of the main ones you need to consider disabling is any other mod that also adds additional flips, as that may cause issues. So do note, this could be tricky to get working depending on how many mods you have for your ships. But for me, I needed to remove quite a few of them, or disable them, I should say. So just note that. However, it might be possible to enable it, do what you need to do, then disable the mod and still have the components flipped without any issues. The mod author mentions that he's looking to continue to expand what is flippable, which is pretty crazy because a lot of them are already flippable, so there won't be much left by the end of it that won't allow you to have complete freedom. But just going through some of the other components, so you can flip this as well, upside down. You could never do this before with this particular piece. Some of the cool, more unusual ones are flipping some of these other structural components and spinning them around like never before. But you get the idea. A terrific mod and an absolute must for shipbuilders looking to really expand what's possible. Better Ship Part Flips by Rux616, which leads us straight into the next mod, which is another one by Rux and that is better ship part snaps. Now, when it comes to better ship part snaps, adds a multitude of unusual snapping points to modules and components that never ever existed before, allowing for truly unique designs and flexibility. A lot of these just make a lot of general sense, like particularly adding a snapping point to the Stormax cargo, where you'd just be able to now, chuck some on top as well, but you could then also attach a weapon, and the flexibility is just incredible. You can see here how adding these two mods together just makes for some wild possibilities. These are two highly impactful, brilliant shipbuilding mods. Definitely worth considering and giving a try. This next mod is by far the most interesting mod that I've seen this week, and it's called Place the Doors Yourself. Now, what you might have not realized or considered thinking about is that there's actually two builders of the ship. Whenever you go to do your own, there's you who place the habs, and then there is the godly ship designer behind the scenes that will place the ladders, the doors. But how about we take that power away from the all-seeing eye of the ship creator and place our own doors? Well, there's a mod called Place Doors Yourself, and it gives us the power to really hone in and completely control where the doors go on our ship. So I'm just going to give you an example of how this mod works. So not only can you control where you place the doors, but it's going to be complete control of where you place your ladders, doors, windows, giving you absolute control and the finest finesse to designing how your ship flows in terms of traffic, layout, ladders, and doors. So we're going to delve into this. However, there's a few key things that you need to understand before you get started with this mod. It's important to understand as soon as you install this mod, any ship that becomes your home ship will remove all the doors except for the doors leading from your landing bay, from your cockpit, and of course the docker. With that in mind, my understanding is this ship should have all the same doors as we have the cockpit at top, which you won't have to worry about the door. We have the docker, which will have a door, and we have the landing bay below. So all doors should be covered. So let's go and have a quick look at this ship just to highlight the fact of that you don't need doors for these components. And then we'll quickly jump into a ship where we will need doors. Okay, so here we go. We're in the landing bay. We'll be able to go through the first door. Landing bays do not need a door replacement. We have an automatic ladder to the cockpit because we don't need to place that either, as the cockpit will always place a ladder or door. And we also have access to the docking door because we have the habs that come with all the default doors all connected. This is probably one of the very few ships in the game that would have this kind of arrangement. Not necessarily, there's a few others, but let's go have a look at a bigger ship just to highlight the point. Okay, so we're going to go check out the Crimson Fleet Spectre. We're going to make it our home. Now, in order for all the doors to get automatically removed, if we make a change to this ship in any kind of way, that should reset all the doors. Otherwise, if you do not make any changes to the ship, all the doors will remain just when we move some of these components around. So if we go and add, let's say we add another hab and we exit out, this will remove all the doors. So now if we head over, okay, we're inside the ship and you can see all the doors, everything is gone. So no way to access the ship now without placing our own doors, ladders, windows, etc. So let's go and run through the process of doing this just so you can have a rough understanding of how it all works. So before we jump into that, it's important to understand that when you capture citizenships or any ship in the game, you would expect all the habs and doors to be placed all as expected. Should not interfere with any of the ships until you take them over and change a component or make a save with any kind of change, then all the doors will get removed. So keep that in mind. So we walk through here, we'll expect all the doors to be around. If we just jump down here, it's only a small ship, but you'll get the idea. And we'll go through this door, but there you go. So it's just a quick demonstration that other ships in the game will not be impacted. Let's go and have a look at some examples now. So for the purpose of this demonstration, we're just going to be working with a tiny ship just so we can go through the main basics for you to understand so you can get a head start onto this mod. Okay, so let's get started. So in this very simple demonstration, we have the landing bay, which will open a door by default, as we know, to this hab. However, we're going to place another hab on top. Now, in order to connect this hab to this top hab, we're going to need to place a ladder. So how can we do that? So we're going to hover over it, press G, and then we'll have the door. So we don't want a door, we don't want a hole, we don't want a ladder times 3. If you wanted to have a ladder go straight up 3 habs or 4 habs or 5 habs, those are what those are for. It's just a quicker way of doing the ladder system instead of doing it for each individual hab if you're just looking for a vertical like 5 times ladder arrangement. However, for this demonstration, we're just going to be building a ladder. So we've placed our ladder 1, then we can lower our hab down, and that is the ladder going up into the hab. Now again, if you want a continuous hab, say if you wanted ladder to go up all these different 2 levels, so 1, 2, 3, you would want to use the ladder times 3. So we'll use that just to drive that point home. Now if we do that though, we need to add a hole to each level. So in this case, we have the ladder there, so right here we'll need to add a hole so the ladder can pass through, so that will connect to that one, and that should be all we need to do to get the ladder to go up these 3 habs. Now let's say we want doors on each side here, so we're going to put one, we're going to add a door. So keep in mind that when we're facing the direction our ship is facing, this left side is the port side, so we place a door, and then this side being the Starborn, being always on the right side of your ship. So those will be our 2 doors. Now note, when you clone your habs, it's not going to be cloning the holes or doors or ladders or anything, so you will always remember have to place them regardless of copying, unless you copy the actual door itself or ladder or whatever you have. So in this, we've covered ladders going up multiple stories. We've covered added doors to the port side, Starborn. How about adding windows? Now to add the windows, we need to add the jalousie now, which just translates to windows. However, the logic is a bit mixed up so far. This might change by the time you watch it. So if you want to add a window to the port side, you would actually add the jalousie Starborn to the port side. So I know that's confusing, but it's just switch the logic. And then again, if we wanted to do it on this side, we would have to go port side. So the logic is reversed, jalousie port side for Starborn. And then we would need to just simply add our window. So we got a porthole here. If we don't add these, we won't be able to see through these windows. So let's add a passway. We added a passway to our hab here. Did anyone notice that I have already made a mistake? So this is why it's really important to understand. You need to add doors. So have I added doors all on these compartments? Yes, I have. However, when I connected this new hab, I did not. So in order to connect these habs together, we need to go down back to our habs, make sure we have a door. Now, a passway is pretty much just a standard door that you come across in ships that have no door. It's just a passageway. And then finally, I'll just show you these shutters as well. So we have shutter on Starborn, and we've got a passway here, so we know we can get into here, and we will add a shutter to the port side. That is using a good combination of all the components. So just to recap, we've got a 3 times ladder, we've got a hole. We could even just add one more door here and then add another hab just to see, because we've got the 3 times, so we either won't be able to get into this one. We'll even do a door here as well, just to prove the point of how that 3 times ladder will work. So it will only go so high even with all the doors, but it will save us having to place a ladder on each individual level. We also have the port side door, the Starborn door, the Starborn window, port side window. We have the door. We will add one more door because we've got the Starborn passageway. Now we need the door facing the front, which is door foot. Then we have the door 4 for backwards. Now that we've got all this, let's go check to see we've got it all covered. We better build a hab onto the next where these shutters are placed. Otherwise, we'll be opening into nowhere. Okay, let's go. So upon entering, we notice that we have the 3 times ladder, which looks like it counts from floor it starts on, 3 floors from where we connected to, which was here. We're going to head to where we added the doors. So you can see we've added these doors here. We've got the window that we added and the window on the other side. We have the door that faces the front. We have the shutters that we added. Now, I know the shutters are clanky, but doesn't bother me too much, but it might bother you just to be clanky. Ship has some age and character, and then again some other shutters here. But isn't that insane? What a cool little mod. So you can completely control all the access doors, everything you need to your own ship now. So an absolute incredible mod. So huge props to Jim Soon, who did Place Your Doors Yourself mod. An absolute master key to all the doors when shipbuilding, giving you complete flexibility and control. Now you can be your own ship god. Terrific mod. Let's keep moving. So cool to see. Let's keep moving. This next mod I'm really looking forward to using and implementing, because when it first came to PC, it was very cumbersome and difficult to use because there was such a manual process of trying to decorate your ship. However, now we have a much easier decoration system. So now we can add up to 64 different signs to our ship. This is awesome, particularly if you get lost on your own ship or you just want it to be easily identifiable, or just make it more realistic. You can now add signs to anywhere on the ship that is applicable, going to present much more like an actual ship that would have normally labels everywhere for all the different sections, departments, or areas of a ship. So it's really nice to see. This mod is called Signs, and this amazing work has been done by Specific. You can now add signs all over your own ship. Terrific mod. And we'll just have a quick look at some of these different signs. So you've pretty much got every sign you could possibly think of, even numbers. So you could give room numbers, operation center, pantry, pretty much could think of any kind of sign you would want, and you'd be able to basically apply it. And hey, maybe down the track we'll get individual letters so you can make your own. However, this for now is exactly what we need and want. Great mod. Let's keep moving. This next mod is probably something you've always wanted to either try or muck around with. Planet to planet without having to quick travel. Now that will still take some time, but it adds a fascinating aspect to space flight that you've probably never experienced before. The mod is called Improved Sublight Engine Boost by Sublight 123. Flying to planet. Previously, doing such a task would have taken hours upon hours upon hours. However, with the mod called Improved Sublight Engine Boost by Sublight 123, you can now get to very, very far distant locations much quicker. So we are going to travel 0.1 light years to a comet that is very far away. This would probably take, I don't know, maybe an hour, 2, 3, not entirely sure, but it would take a very long time to try and do this outside using this mod. However, now it is possible. So we have our gravity on very low. In fact, we have it off. You could put it up to 1, but the higher you put it, probably the slower you'll be going. But you can see the speed we are just ever getting faster and faster. Now the comet is very slowly getting closer to our, and you can see if we keep our cursor over this target, slowly going to get bigger and encompass the target. Now, I'll save you guys the time. We'll just cut into bits of me slowly getting to this comet that is very far away. Just for reference, if we have a look on the map, I started over here and this is where we're going to. So relatively short distance in terms of a system. However, this is still something that would never be achievable. As you can see that we are getting crazy speeds. Now do note, there are some of these artifacts or cosmetic graphics issues from the engine. Now the mod author is aware of those and will be looking to fix those. And so there is mention that some players could be experiencing audio bugs on Xbox. Mod author is looking into that. Reordering the mod in the load order and rebooting the game may fix this audio issue. So give that a try. You could try and increase it higher in the list or lower. May need to do both to see which one works. If you boost away from combat, you may not be able to find the enemies again. Now this one is, I'm not sure if they've fixed it, but in the past when you would boost away from enemies and you were engaged in combat, you could never jump out of the area because it says you cannot use your grav drive during combat. So I don't know if that's still the case, but as we are talking, you can see it is getting slightly bigger. It is much bigger than it was before. So we are indeed getting closer and our speeds are getting crazy. We're up to 27,000. Be mindful if you do try use this to escape combat. I haven't tested it, but you may not be able to escape that even if you get so far away. But again, when I tested that was using just normal engines and not being able to get anywhere near as far away as you can now. Do keep in mind that this mod will conflict with any other ship mod that edits the ship engine. Now this is really important. For me, I had to pretty much disable all my ship mods, and I even went into an unmodded save to get this working. You might not have to do this, but you will have to turn off majority of your ship modifications that change anything to do with the engine. So that's a fair chunk of mods you'll have to consider turning off. Also make sure that you save your game before installing this mod, just so you can go back, turn on all your other mods and keep going. As the mod author mentioned, some of the configurations on the engines are saved to the actual save file. So a bit of a cautionary tale with this mod. However, this is a very powerful mod to help you travel in real time from location, from planet to planet, or long distances. Your speed is ever increasing and you can pretty much reach far distances now. Mod author notes that he's looking into trying to fix as many of these issues as time goes on. So stay tuned for this. We will be keeping a much closer eye on this, and I'm hoping we can get an implementation on this while being able to keep all our other mods active as well. However, maybe that's something that can't be done. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed up the game time and see if we can get a bit closer, just so I can prove to you that it does work. You can travel long distances. Still takes time, but man, it's a fraction compared to what it would be previously. Okay, so here we are. We have sped the game up a lot and we're gonna fly past the comet now. Well, there it goes. Crazy mod. And yeah, we could even fly to somewhere even further if we wanted. So just some additional notes before before we head off. So the whole purpose of this mod is to give you extended boost, basically unlimited boost and ever increasing speed. We're just about to pass a planet now. See ya. And keep in mind, you'll need to run the grab drive on low. Turning off boost will return you to normal speed. So if I just hit stop, I'll instantly slow down and all that speed that I gathered will be gone. I'll just show you again. We'll speed up and then we'll stop. Pretty much instant. So that's a nice little touch, or very close to instant. I am running on faster speed, so that could be why. And then obviously Starborn ships are going to be traveling at a crazy rate of speed because they're much faster ships in general. But you can see we can almost tick down this in a matter of, this is probably going to take maybe 50 minutes, but still you could travel fast distances. Insanely awesome mod, worth checking out. And that is the improved Sublight engine boost by Sublight. Definitely could recommend this mod, especially for those looking to get a much more immersive space travel. This next mod is called Cloaking Shield Equipment by Keith B. Smith. It says it's for Xbox and PC, and what it does is it adds a new perk called Ship Cloaking and allows us to build a component to add to our ship that will give the same sort of stealth as you would see on your Starborn. However, I'm not sure how this is going to work on Xbox, as it states in the Nexus version that you have to manually add the perk using console command. So we will come back to this mod. However, I will just give you a demonstration of what it is like because I can manually activate this perk. Okay, so I've activated the perk. Let's go see if we can attach this cloaking device to our ship. If anyone has a better idea if this works on Xbox without a command, let me know. Okay, so here it is. We have the cloaking shield. Let's whack that on. And this is what it looks like. This is a component right here. And we can just sit it on top of the ship. Okay, it's saved. Let's go test this out. Yes, it does work. But it does have such a cool effect. So really nice. You can get the cloaking on any ship build now. And it works really well. It was really nice. So anytime you accelerate, you will go into, when you boost, you'll go into the stealth mode. Automatically activates and then you'll pop out. But the effect looks sensational. And this is going to be really neat to add to any ship in the galaxy. So really nice mod. However, I'm a bit skeptical and I'm not so sure how this is going to work on Xbox. Let me know if you give this a try and if it works without a command. Hopefully it does. We'll probably touch back on this later if it is updated to properly support Xbox. But I suspect we'll get another cloaking mod soon enough anyway. Just wanted to include this one because it is really neat. And if you love your ships, this could be excellent to add. This next mod has been a staple for a very long time. This mod is called Clean Ship Builder and it is by Inquisitor. This is an absolute staple for all you shipbuilders. It removes all the grid lines, removes that whole entire sphere that made it dark. This mod has such a profound effect. It just makes building much more enjoyable, easy to see, and great for taking screenshots of your ship. It adds so much value. Can't recommend this one enough if you're into shipbuilding, and that is the Inquisitor Clean Ship Builder. Thanks for this one, Inquisitor. It's been such a good staple. One thing that never made sense was how the infirmaries basically did not do anything other than allow you to craft some medical supplies or do some research. Well, now we have a mod called Starvival, immersive survival add-on, which enhances the infirmary that in a way that it actually becomes a functional, supply stealing, doctor requiring medical infirmary. So now we can actually walk up to the surgical bed and get healed from all the various ailments, whether it be environmental damage, you need health, whatever it might be. We can now access those services. However, we do need to assign a doctor. In this case, assign a Rosie Tanhill from Aquila City, which in my case we don't have. So at the moment, I can't use the surgical bed without Rosie. However, there are two alternatives to getting this infirmary fully functional. One of being having the combat medical trait or background, I should say. Do you have this? You do not need a doctor and we don't need rank 4 medicine. However, if we don't have a doctor or the combat trait, having rank 4 medicine will suffice. So 3 different ways to be able to get this infirmary to function. You have a doctor on board. In this case, we have Rosie Tanhill, or we have combat medic, or we have rank 4. So just to drive that home, that's what you'll need to get this functioning. So if it's not working, consider one of those 3 things first. Now on top of that, we also need to consider our medical supplies. So when we interact with the bed, we lose our arms and we get this personal infirmary menu pop up. You can see here, infirmary supply is 0. And it lists all the different options that we have. First off, let's get the infirmary supplied. To get the infirmary supplied, we need to make sure we have all the right goods in our ship's cargo. It's not exactly clear what is technically considered medical supplies, but it's basically your bandages, antibiotics, all the different bits and pieces that you need to heal the various ailments. So we're going to go throw some emergency kits in, Heart Plus. So I don't know, I haven't been able to get it working. I have the immobilizer in my ship and when I try to heal, it still says I do not have the relevant supplies. So let me know if you've got this working, but but I know for sure you use antibiotics, trauma packs, emergency kits, med packs, pretty much what you'd use to cure all your ailments on the fly without the infirmary. If you have your ship stacked with that, it should work. The only time this will not work is if you are playing using some of the new gameplay options. Some of these options will prevent this mod from working. So if you're playing on extreme and you're mixing around with the affliction, treatment, and prognosis, that can have some detrimental impacts and prevent the mod from working. Do keep that in mind. However, for the most part, it should be working for everyone. Let me know in the comments if it's working for you. Otherwise, it's a terrific mod. We finally get an infirmary that's functional. I'm sure this mod will continue to expand, but what we got now is an awesome mod that really brings new life into the infirmary hub. And just in case you're not sure and you're new to this game and you're new to Starfield, if you're wondering what the infirmary or where the infirmary hub is, it's in your ship builder. You'd select, say for example, you'd select the shroud all in one, and then you'd use the arrow keys to go across until you find the infirmary. Now the Teo has infirmary, Shroud has it, Nova, they all have it. So with all that information, that should be able to give you enough to get going and get a good understanding of this mod. Let's keep moving. This next mod is a game changer for all seeking to create and craft huge Class M vessels or muck around with Class M vessels that exist in the game. Before we jump in though, there's just one important thing we need to touch base with while we're here in space. It's important to understand that Class M modules are completely empty. They look solid, but they have nothing inside them. This is something I hope that comes in other mods or Shattered Space or down the track at least. So it's really important to understand the modules for Class M are completely hollowed out. There's nothing in them. There are ways to work around this. The mod we're about to go through will help with this, is my understanding. Now, depending on how it's implemented on creations, we should be able to get around this now. This is TN's Class M and Starborn Guardian shipbuilding. This is the ultimate mod for anyone looking to build Class M ship. It allows you to attach otherwise incompatible components to all the Class M components. This is going to save a lot of headache and a lot of pain. I don't know if you have ever tried to construct Class M or even just to reconfigure an existing Class M in the game, you know it is extremely painful. However, now we have so much opportunity and ease of use with this mod. I mean, this is just game changing for me. Now, I've never used this mod. However, I have done a lot of messing around with Class M ship and I've spent hours and hours trying to get around some of the restrictions of the game. Well, no longer will you have to worry about that. This mod adds so many features to the shipbuilder when working with Class M components. Let's go through some of them. However, before we jump in, just in case you don't know, so M class, monster class, mothership class is basically a category above or below, I should say, Class 3, where you have giant components that will construct a huge ship. Now, for the most part, these components are inaccessible to us. However, with mods, we can get access to them. And this is one of those mods that will give you access to the different Class M components. Now, this mod will also rebalance the mass when it comes to the different modules. However, the most important change in that aspect is that engine and landing gear have been balanced in a way that you're not going to need, 20,000 landing gear to be able to get these ships off the ground. Along with the landing gear and mass of these Class M components is that the engines have been rebalanced to manage and handle the whole rebalancing of these modules' mass and landing gear. Also includes the configuration of the hull values, so they have also been reconfigured. So in summary, basically all the Class M modules have been reworked. One thing for me though is I'm either missing a mod or perhaps this mod has not increased the size of the ships to completely break the limits, because I'm still getting this error. But again, I've got too many mods to really pinpoint if this mod is causing this. One of the ways we had to work around using Class M components was you could never use any of the reactors, grav drives in Class M builds because it would cause way too many issues and errors in your save. However, now we can actually remove the Class C reactors and grav drives, go into our build menu, and you can see here how I have Class M as a separate category. I would highly recommend, if you would like to have that kind of arrangement, that you also get TN's separated categories, which I'm assuming he's included his patch for all this to work together. So when you come into your builder, you should also have this Class M, which will show all the Class M components, some of which were hidden previously. However, we just want to go to the reactors. And if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we can then attach a proper Class M reactor. We can put in the giant NG400 grav drive finally, connected the grav drive, and now these components will actually function and work and not destroy your save. Now, in order to access these Class M components, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need piloted piloting rank 4. This will let you unlock in rank 4, will allow you to purchase Class M parts with piloting 4, but you will also need ship command rank 1. Having both of those will unlock the Class M component. This mod also increases the active allowable crew by 4 times. So make sure you have ship command rank 1 and piloting rank 4 in order to fly and purchase Class M component. Before we move on to what else this mod does, we just need to quickly have a look at some of these Class M modules just to get a better understanding of how they work, just so you have a little bit more information when you go to build with them. So as I said, all of this is hollow inside. Depending how this mod is set up, you may be able to build inside and actually connect hubs doing something like this, where you'd line it up and have your hubs exist inside so it looks completely legit. But that will depend how this works for you on Xbox, because it might not be fully implemented the way it is on PC. But regardless of that, it's important to understand these connections. So Class M connections are these big crosshair looking connections. They're the ones that directly connect to the other Class M components. See on this module how we have these big crosshairs, we connect those, that's where it actually connects. These connection points are just your standard ones that you're most familiar with when connecting hubs and any other type of component, so nothing unusual there. The other really important one is that these connections here on Class M modules, these you can pass through. So this was what allows us to be able to build inside these modules, is that these are like the doorways that you can actually pass through. So it's really important if you are doing any kind of build where you are trying to get your hubs to exist inside the Class M components, is that they line up with that doorway there, so you can actually connect and use those pass-through points in the Class M module. So just quickly to recap, the big crosshairs are Class M connection points, only really able to connect Class M components to those connection points. However, you'll have your standard connection points in many of the other locations, which allows for the additions of hubs and everything to be connected to these now. Previously in the past, I don't believe that was the case, it was much more difficult. Now, the other huge thing this mod does is adds connection points to all your different Starborn ships. So now, if you want to edit your Starborn ship, put on unique and different weapons, now you'll have the option to actually connect various modules, weapons, any other normal component to all the different Starborn ships. So, okay, so when it comes to being able to fly and edit a modded Starborn ship, I'll show you how you need to do that, because it is not so straightforward as it would seem. So you would just go to add, you would go across to your Starborn ships, select the one you want. Let's go Scorpius. Now you'll notice that there is 30 snapping points on Starborn, which have been added thanks to this glorious mod by TN. However, you'll straight away notice you'll run into all these errors. What we need to do is simply use the components provided to trick the editor into acknowledging that we have all these components. So in order to do that, we have to look and pay attention to these snapping points that are square, not round. See how these have a square indicating there's some under it? Those are some of the ones we can use to snap particular components to satisfy the builder's restriction. What does that mean? In every major category, meaning reactor, fuel, landing bay, etc., we need to attach a very specific piece for each. Otherwise, we won't get past these errors. So we're going to run through that quickly now. So we're going to hover our mouse over one of those connections. Then we can see here we have a Starborn atmospheric entry computer. So all the things that say blah blah computer are the components we need to install. They'll also have a value of 0. And if we've connected to the right connection point, we will only be able to hook up the relevant management system or computer to these particular points. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. So let's have a quick look. In the flight check, we have 7 errors. Let's go get rid of cockpit. So we'll hover over the connection point, go over to in cockpit, we'll see Starborn targeting computer, hit that. And you can see that the error has gone down from 7 to 6. So hover over the connection point, hit G, and we'll go Starborn atmospheric computer. But this one needs to be connected to the bottom because it is the bay. So we'll just scoot under here and let us connect this one here. We'll go enter. See how that has then got rid of the error for bays. So make sure you connect the bay underneath. While we're down here, we can connect the reactor. See how we've gotten rid of another error. Hover over, go across, do the same for the grav drive, go to the next point. Same for the fuel tank. We'll need one for the fuel tank. So we've got 2 errors left. We've got the docker. So we'll go to the top and we'll attach a docker, attach the docker to the top. I just selected position A for that. So what do we have left? We have 2 few engines. So for engines, we'll just connect doing the same process. We'll go across to engines and then boom, there we go. So all the errors have been eliminated. So now that we've cleared all the errors, now we can start mucking around with this. We can add some weapons if we wanted to. Let's just do something retarded. Let's put some satellite dishes on top. We'll face them forward, grab a few of them. Now you can attach some of the Starborn Starborn as well if you wanted to. So if you want to attach Starborn, you would just do the same thing. You'd simply hover over and attach them. Okay, you can't add class M. Okay, so it looks like we're meant to be able to add some habs. Give it a try. Let's add these cool looking ones. Okay, so we've attached them. We'll see if we can then enter them. So we'll just jump out of it now. So we've cleared all the errors. Everything is good. Let's accept it. There we go. So we've got an edited Starborn. How crazy is that? Okay, I just made a few more adjustments. Let's go. And there it is. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Hell yeah. Okay, let's see if it flies. Okay, so we have jumped on board and let's see if we can enter. Oh, wow. Yep, can we? Okay, looks like we might have to do some of our own door placement. So we'll probably need that mod that will add our own doors, but you get the idea. We can now edit it. Let's just give it a quick test fly. Just look at that. It looks glorious. There we go. There it goes. We're taking off. It's going into the sky. No errors, no defects yet. Okay, and we're in. Look at this. And it works. How cool is that? Let's just get into a little bit of a battle here. Oh, it feels amazing too. Okay, there we go. And now we'll just get some footage of this. This is crazy. All I can say is this is insane. This is freaking cool. Look how far those weapons can fire. That is in crazy range. Now this is a super quick ship. So it feels really nice to be able to get into combat with some different weapons on this. But there you have it. What a terrific mod. Now you can edit your Starborn ship and much easily make Class M ships. Truly a fantastic mod. Definitely worthwhile trying. Let me know how you go. Be interesting to see some of your creations. And yeah, thank you very much. This next mod is for all you shipbuilders, and this is one I've been waiting for to come to Xbox. So it's really nice to see this. It's going to be huge for all you shipbuilders. It's another TN's mod, and this one is Ship Modification All-in-One by the OG Tennessee, the legend himself. So this is his all-in-one version, which incorporates about 8 different mods, and he's combined them all into one to make a pretty overall schmick utility shipbuilding mod. So we'll just go through the habs, and one of the first things you'll notice with this mod is that it adds cargo to all the habs. So the bigger the hab, the more cargo. Makes a lot more sense to have something like this. So bit of a no-brainer, terrific little aspect there. The habs also grant a bit of hull. It just makes a lot more sense adding cargo and hull to your habs. Brilliant. So not only does it rebalance the habs, it also drives a similar point home with all your structural components. So not only will it give the structural components some hull, which otherwise would not add any hull amount to your ship, it adds a really nice feature that should just be a staple or in the game by default. And it's actually making these braking engines, thrusters, landing gear, and maneuvering thrusters some actual thrust themselves at the cost of taking a small amount of power. As you can see for this particular component, it's taking 0.20 power. So something to consider. It actually gives practical meaning and substance to all their structural pieces and thrusters and landing gear, giving them some maneuvering thrust. I think that's absolutely brilliant. However, it gets even better. So if we go across to reactors, let's grab the S40 sheared flow reactor and say with all the extra hull and power diversion to some of the braking, we need a bit more power to go that extra mile. You can also add supplemental reactor. This is a terrific way to balance the additional reconfiguration, which makes a lot more logical sense of adding hull, power, and weight to some of these modules. We can build another reactor alongside a main reactor. Now, the good thing about this is the way it's implemented is it doesn't add extra hull to your ship. So it's not completely busting up, making your ship indestructible. And it pretty much has every single reactor known to us other than Class M almost that can be a supplementary reactor. So now you could run 2 sheared flow reactor simultaneously. The original would give you a good hull. The other one would give you no hull, extra power, and importantly, crew capacity as well. It doesn't break shipbuilding. It supplements it quite nicely. Now, hold on to that same logic because there's more. You have the same setup for your cockpits. You have your supplementary, meaning now you can have 2. Now, these are decorative, and the main reason for these is to add extra crew capacity. Crew stations does take a bit of power. However, now you can build multiple cockpits, add it into your design, and not get any errors. The other brilliant thing this mod does is just allow us to snap weapons to any snapping joint, with the exceptions of Class M and in particular the space station. Some of the Class M should still work due to the other TN's mods. However, something like this scan jammer would only be able to be placed on these. However, now you can straight away see you can place them anywhere. So this impacts all your weapons, scanners, utilities sort of things. Those will be perfectly placed anywhere. The mod also includes the separate categories. If you've noticed up here, I'll have different categories for different habs. different structural components. For instance, here we have the Dairy Tech Habs, which is a patch, and then the Habs for Teo. Keep in mind, for this particular part to work, you may need as a prerequisite, 4 TN's categories to work correctly. Not 100% sure about that, but that's my understanding. However, with those two, you will get these separated and much easier to use shipbuilding split between Habs and everything. Very nice. And do note, some of these functionalities have been split into different mods. So say if you did want to just get the reactor change, you could find the various all-in-one parts in separate mods themselves. If it's not out now, they will be coming over time. However, a really nice mod for you shipbuilders, adding a lot of much needed rebalancing and allowing Xbox users to create some much more unique builds by adding multiple reactors and cockpits. Another superb mod from Tennessee. Let's keep moving. For this next mod, our destination is the glorious underground of New Atlantis. Consider liking, subscribing, commenting. Let me know what you think about some of these mods. You can let me know what mods you'd like me to cover, or if there's anything on your mind, just drop it in the comments. Thanks again, and peace.